As the saying goes, curiosity killed the cat, and we all get curious once in a while, and we get on Google to search for something completely disgusting. Nikki Katsouris. In 2006, in Lake Forest, California, 18-year-old Nikki Katsouris died a horrid death while driving her father's Porsche when she lost control of the vehicle and ran into a light pole. Her body was so mangled that her family weren't required to identify her body at the coroner's. The California Highway Patrol took photos per their protocol anyway, but then 2 officers leaked the photos when they emailed them to their friends. Despite the family's best efforts, the photos still exist online with a simple Google search. Brian Peppers. Brian Peppers is a registered sex offender in the state of Ohio when his mugshot went viral on the internet. Peppers seems to suffer from a deformity or congenital disorder that leads to a deformity of the skull. Given his crimes and his grim appearance, this Google search is overall just really creepy and won't help you sleep at night. Harlequin fetus. If someone tells you to Google anything with the word fetus, the result is certainly never up to any good. The term Harlequin fetus leads to a result that includes images of a fetus with a condition called ichthyosis, which is a skin condition that increases the amount of keratin in the baby's skin, causing scales to appear all over its body. Sadly, babies born with this condition only live for a few days, meaning this term is both horrifying and depressing. 2 kids, 1 sandbox. 2 kids, 1 sandbox is a term that seems pretty innocent, but results will definitely scar you for life, especially if you're a man. The video starts off with a naked woman pleasuring a man, which seems okay enough. But when the woman grabs a large vibrator and shoves it down the man's penis, your mind may see something horrible, but the actual visual is even worse. Bear by Marian Engel. It is known to be one of the most controversial books in Canada, and it was written in 1976 by Marian Engel. The work is no doubt her most famous because of the fact that the book is about a lonely librarian in Ontario who enters into a sexual relationship with an actual bear. The description and imagery that the book presents are not only scarring, but can introduce you to some new words that you will never shake from your psyche. Tetris fanfiction. The classic video game where you have to organize falling blocks has its own genre of fanfiction. If you were expecting an innocent story, then you have another thing coming, as all of these stories are erotic. There are vivid descriptions of the blocks that are similar to what may have been seen in 50 Shades of Grey, but with blocks. Think about that for a moment. Snape Wives. We've all had our crushes on famous literary characters, and we have all had our fantasies of being swept away by a story's hero or villain. But in this case, there is a group of women who believe that Professor Severus Snape from Harry Potter is an actual person to fall in love with. The women take turns channeling Snape's soul so they can marry him and have relations with him. And yes, there are pictures, which is why you should never Google the term Snape Wives. Faces of Death. We are all fascinated by death in one way or another. We often wonder when we're going to die, how it will happen, and what happens to our body after we die. One such term that you should never Google is faces of death. You will see different faces of people who have died, which by itself is pretty creepy. However, just know that not everyone dies a peaceful death. Bomb instructions. If you want to get the United States government and the FBI on your front door quickly, then Google instructions on how to make a bomb. Searching this term will obviously alert Google, and the search engine will likely notify your proper authorities that you need to be questioned. With all the terror attacks going on these days, you can't blame them for their inquiries. Goatse. Goatse.cx is the shock site that sets the standard for other shock sites. Simply known as Goatse, the site features a man holding his anus open with both hands, exposing the inside of his rectum. The image